Hey, it's really great to be here today. Myself and the Visa team were really excited about having the opportunity to come and talk to you about what we see is going on, about digital disruption, digital transformation, digital innovation. And it's happening in every industry, in every sector, all around the planet. Whether it's in retail, and I can get my fridge to go and order or pre-order for me and I don't have to think about it. Believe me, when you have 6 kids like I do that are eating a lot out of the fridge, it's great to have that assistant to go and do that for you. Whether it's in transportation, when I don't even have to think about ride sharing and payment anymore, it just happens seamlessly. Hospitality, when I can actually get to my hotel and they can automatically check me in. They know exactly my patrons. I like to be on the 4th floor furthest away from the elevator. I can just arrive, get my digital key, they send me my room number and off I go. And also in financial services, the ability to make every device a payment device. It's really changing not only what we're thinking about, but what all of you guys should be thinking about as well. How do we make the future today? It's extremely important. We're going to be talking about some areas that Visa is doing to enable you by opening up what was our closed proprietary network and opening up all of our APIs that all of you guys have access to be able to build new customer experiences faster, to move at the speed of the business. Today is really a change in how all of us think about what the customer experience is doing. If you think about all the ways that a customer interacts with your company today, and then think about all the ways that they could be interacting, that gap, if we do not address that gap, your loyal customers today become your former customers tomorrow. So what we're doing is really helping all of you and helping all of our customers and our traditional partners to be able to drive a richer experience, to be able to do it faster, to be able to take advantage of capabilities that we traditionally would keep as proprietary and closed, and then open them all up and give them to you. Let me just take a minute just to talk about the Visa network. You know, in play today, there's about 3 billion cards accepted in 44 million merchants. We are processing approximately 65,000 transactions a second. A second. But when you think about our business, it really was tied to the telecom and electrical infrastructure around the planet. And so the opportunity was really where that was, because it is the acceptance of electronic payments. Think about the future. There is an explosion of connected devices that's happening all around us. We have every device has the ability to be a connected payment option. Whether it's your fridge, your car, my payment ring, I have the ability to have all of these components extend not just at the 3 billion cards, but 30 billion ways to pay. Think about that. 30 billion ways to pay. And maybe 440 million places to buy. My friends, that's the opportunity. We're not tied then to the infrastructure needed from a telecom perspective, from an electrical grid perspective. Countries that couldn't put in that infrastructure are now lighting up and accepting electronic payments. Why? Because they have a mobile device. And with that mobile device comes choice. They have the ability to choose how they want to use those capabilities and deliver a much richer and newer level of convenience for them and their customers. This is our opportunity. And what we're going to talk about today are three main elements. One, finding patterns in data. Two, making technology invisible. And three, connecting to the network that allows us to all co-create to drive a faster, richer customer experience. Before I start, just let me tell you a little bit about my usual morning. Monday to Friday. I usually get up around 5 o'clock. My family gets up around 5:30. We kind of spend a bit of time chatting for a while. Then we may have a spot of breakfast. 6 o'clock, I go and I head to work. 10 minutes down the road is a coffee shop. I go there Monday to Friday. And I go in, I say hello to the barista, I order my grande, non-fat, no-foam, one-pump vanilla latte. Can you say that? You know it's real, because no one else can make this up, right? And I pay for it. I walk to the other end of the counter, and I wait. I do this Monday to Friday. They know what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen, but yet there's little bits of friction all through that experience. It takes about 15 minutes. Think of that. There's a pattern. I leave at 6. I get there at 10 after 6. I order the same coffee. There's a pattern. I order the same coffee. Another pattern. Think about how, if we could understand those patterns, if we could understand exactly what our clients are going to do, we can then start predicting. We can then start understanding how should we react to enable a new level of convenience for our customer. What do we have to do to ensure that was taking 15 minutes is now taking 15 seconds? But I'm not there today, right? So you don't want them just making coffee even when I'm not there. So the pattern is not just only about understanding what Paul is doing, but adjusting real time. If I don't get an indication that Paul is going to come to this coffee shop, don't make the coffee. That would not be good. But don't make the coffee too early either. So how do you manage that? Well, think about it. I leave the house, my wearable, my phone, my car, just sends an alert. Paul has left the house. Don't make the coffee. He's 10 minutes out. There's two reasons why you don't want to make the coffee at that point. One for them and one for me. For me, I want it piping hot. For them, they want to have a higher probability that I'm going to turn right and not left. If I go left, I go to the airport and I'm here. I go right, I'm heading towards their coffee shop. So 5 minutes out, they get that second alert. Paul is here, or on his way, make the coffee. I get there, my geolocator tells them I'm there. My digital wallet pays for that coffee when I walk in. I pick it up and I go. These are tweaks in a customer experience. This is not one big monolithic change, but tweaks in a customer experience. And now that customer experience allows me to go much faster, have more time. I'm happier. Think about all the things that we should be doing. Think about what that means to our customer experience. 3 things we're going to talk about today. The first thing is finding patterns in data. Everywhere I go, and I'm sure everywhere you guys go, there's a lot of talk about data, big data. Today, there's approximately 4 zettabytes of data on the planet. A zettabyte is 10 to the 21. Does anybody remember DVDs? If anyone still remembers DVDs or counts in DVDs, there is 250 billion DVDs in a zettabyte. 250. 4 zettabytes today. 90% of that data was generated in the last 2 years. The majority of that data is connected to an IP address. My phone, my wearable, my car. I come in here, my phone, my wearable interacts with you guys. It's generating data. This room is generating data. So there's a lot of data. It's not about just the amount of data, which is important, but it's not just the amount of data. But it's how do I collect that data? How do I interpret that data? How do I model it? What way should I be thinking about organizing it so I can predict? But not just having a static prediction. Paul is going to the coffee shop. Being able then to have a real-time adjustment. He didn't go to the coffee shop today. He's not on his way. He's not here. The coffee shop where I'm based in Seattle today should not be making me that coffee. The coffee shop here should be making me that coffee because I'm here. So how does that network happen? By 2020, there will be 44 zettabytes of data. 44 zettabytes of data. 44 zettabytes of data equates to 100 million printed copies of the Library of Congress. So if you're not keeping up with understanding the patterns, you're going to fall behind. Understand how you can actually get predictive about what your customer is looking for, about what your client is looking for. And then utilizing all of these capabilities to be able to drive a new experience. The second area I'm going to talk a little about is really about making technology invisible. And this is really important. There are so many times where we do not make technology invisible. We had a great idea, but the amount of friction put into a customer journey causes the customer to leave. The amount of friction. I want to pay, but it's really hard. I have to put in all of my credit card details. How do you reduce that friction when you think about the card? And how fantastic that technology is, we got to think about how can we really move that technology into everybody's life in a much more seamless manner. The ride share, I don't have to think about the payment. Card on file, I don't have to think about that payment. If we do it and do it right, it is a beautiful experience. It's a masterpiece. It is the way we all want to think about it. However, too often, we put technology in the way. And the great intent of that masterpiece just changed. So what you all have to think about is how do I deliver that level of a convenience without putting friction? Let me give you an example. I was staying in a hotel just some time ago, and I got there and they asked me, do you want the digital key? I was thinking, I want the digital key. I've been talking about this digital key for a while. So yes, I'm really happy. So they said, hey, here's the digital key. They sent it to my mobile phone. I'm really excited. And then they said, here's a plastic card, just in case. So already, I'm getting all these red flags going off. What are you giving me a plastic card for? I've got my digital key. But I said, oh, I'll go along with it. So, I'm head to the elevator. I pressed 10. They didn't realize that I like to be on the 4th floor, furthest away from the elevator. So they are not using those patterns, and they have all of this data. I press 10. I go up to the 10th floor. I get to my room. I'm all excited, though. I want to try out this digital key. So I take out my phone, and I wave it in front of the door. Beep, beep. Okay, I'll do it again. Beep, beep. It's not working. So I thought, okay, well, they gave me the plastic key. Let me use that just because, at this point, I really want to just get into my room. So I took out the plastic key, beep, beep, and that didn't work. So I get my bags, and I head back down 10th floor. Remembered, I wasn't on the 4th, 10th floor. And I went up to the counter. And at the counter, there's a few more people there, so I got to wait. So eventually, I get to the counter. I said, hey, I got the digital key. It didn't work. Well, it didn't work because you didn't connect to the network. It only works when you connect to the network. But you gave me a plastic key. Well, once you try the digital key, it basically deactivates the plastic one. So if you do not think about the customer experience end to end, you can actually, even though you have a fantastic idea, you can really damage your brand across any industry. Speaking of hotels, the Marriott came to Visa And what they wanted to do is they wanted to give their guests a true localized experience. They wanted to use augmented reality. So when their guests go to any city, they will be a local. They will feel like a local. They will be able to look around the city and understand what the city has to offer, just like a local does. So what we were able to do with the Marriott is provide them a capability where their guests could take their smartphone or a tablet and could move around the room to see what's available. Where can I go and eat? What sites are seeing capabilities that there are out there? Not just a generic one, but I want it personalized to me. You know my patrons. I want it personalized to me. This is where you can really change an experience. Not only that, because we're opening up all these APIs, we actually mash them up with Yelp, mash them up with Google, so we could actually even get ratings and reviews as well. So they can really, truly have an experience. Now that is what a real good experience looks like, and they're now rolling that out across their hotels. Really important. Ensuring that it's not just a great idea, but it's executed extremely well. The third area we're going to just touch off is what I call connected to the network. Finding the right partners and having the right ability to be able to co-create in a way that can transform where we are today and bring the future right back into today. This is really, really important. When we think about Visa, for example, it was really kind of built by. We owned, the services, the experience. We kind of said, we did these releases on a periodic basis, and we kind of own that experience end to end. What we're really thinking about is not just built by, but by opening up our platform, we're really looking at enabled by. How do we enable our partners, our traditional partners, but also how do we enable our startups, ISVs that want to use some of our capabilities and be able to build real experiences from closed and proprietary to an open environment. From we own the experience to together we can co-create. Remember, 30 billion devices. We can co-create. We can deliver new levels of convenience. Let me give you an example. Honda said that their drivers would talk about two real pain points that they had, two real frictions. Anybody here drive? Anyone here ever try and find parking? Right. Well, what they wanted to do is not only give their driver an easier, richer experience trying to find a parking spot, but click, pay for it. The car became a payment instrument. I can find where I'm going on a map, and I can pay ahead. And if anyone is down in our innovation center in San Francisco, you'll see the car sitting there, and they are now bringing this into production. They also wanted to enable or make it easier for the drivers to pay for petrol. I pull up to a gas station, translation. I pull up to my petrol station, and hey, I can also use the car to pay for that as well. How? Built on Visa's platform are open APIs, giving them the capabilities to do that. That's co-creating. That's where we're thinking beyond just what we were doing traditionally and how we can enable all of these different partners to drive these type of capabilities. We have not only thought about, opening up just certain elements. Go to Visa or go to developer.visa.com. Take a look at all of our APIs. There may be areas that you want to work on around fraud and risk. APIs available. You maybe want to provide a richer experience for your clients so when they're traveling, they don't have to call up and sit there waiting for the next, you are 24th in line, your estimated wait time is 25 minutes. No, hey, I am traveling. I just want to notify you that I'm traveling. We have an API for that. You may want to ensure that when you push payments out, that the person is at the location where they're saying. Hey, there's an API for that. You guys can take these APIs, not just use them as they are, but how do I mash these up? How do I drive new capabilities? We've got a lot of partners out there that are thinking about delivering on this, whether it be in the financial services, whether it be merchants. Hey, we've got a lot of developers that are working now on our platform to deliver these new capabilities, to co-create with us so we can drive the right level of capability right out to the customer. Let's take a look for a moment at one.
Visa Developer, it's an open platform that provides access to a range of Visa capabilities. It opens up access to products and services such as Visa Direct, Visa Checkout, and many others. For our clients, that means that they're able to innovate much faster.
Hyperwallet is a global payouts platform. So essentially, we work with organizations and help them distribute funds globally.
We wanted to add prepaid cards as a method for paying out payees in our ecosystem. We saw Visa Direct as an efficient, frictionless way for recipients to receive their funds. People want that instant gratification to receive their payment for a job they've done, and Visa Direct delivers that.
Because there are so many different capabilities available on the Visa Developer platform, there's been an opportunity for a broader audience to get exposure to Visa Direct and the notion of push payments in general.
We've only now taken advantage of a couple different APIs, but there's so many APIs there about data validation, account validation, also taking funds, being able to consume funds and use those for another purpose.
I think I've always been impressed with Visa's clients in terms of their interest in innovation and thinking about how they can continue to service their customers better.
Visa has been a great partner as we grow our business, allowing us to enable new innovative payment options to our platform.
That's just one example of a partnership. And what they got and what we had to do when we were opening up this platform was to really think of the whole developer experience end to end. Right? Make it really simple for you to go and find the APIs that you want. Educate you around, having the right documentation, an SDK. Oh, and basically here's a sandbox environment that you can go and touch and play with. And if you want to get your fingers burned, that's the place to do it before you actually move it then into production. I would suggest to everybody here, go and take a look at Visa Developer. Go up there on developer.visa.com and give us your feedback. What else should we be thinking about? Let's do this together because it's only together that we can enable this. This is where we light up the planet. This is where together we take those 30 billion devices and turn them into payments instruments. The opportunity is real. What you've got to think about, are you defining the future? Are you engaging in the future? If you are, then you become that digital leader, that digital transformer, that differentiator. If you are not, then you could, or there is a probability that you become digital prey because someone is going to do it. I really enjoyed talking to you all today. My comment I would say is, let's go and build together. Thank you very much for your time.